You need a plan, and you need it very urgent. You need a financial plan before you mess up with your future. Very, very important. When you get your next paycheck, do this three things. Divide your paycheck into 3 boxes. The first box is your expense box. The second box is your investment box. And the third box is your need box. I saw a report from CNBC in 2023 saying that Gen Zs are struggling to meet with their financial need because of the rise in inflation and high cost of living. And because of this, they are giving reasons for not improving on the financial IQ. That is why it's very, very important you take your finance very serious, and you need to act upon it now for the sake of your future and for the sake of your generation. Thank you very much. Welcome to Damola Talk Finance, and in this video I'll be giving a few tips you need to do when you get your next paycheck. First of all, you need a plan. You need a plan. A plan is like a roadmap that leads you somewhere. The somewhere we're talking about is financial freedom, ability to be able to manage your finance so you can be able to meet your needs without struggling or finding any challenge with meeting the needs that as they arise. Very, very important. So what do I mean by you need a plan? You need a budget. You need a budget. Now, before I talk about the budget, I said you need to divide your paycheck into 3 boxes. The first box is your expense box. So what are your expense box? It's important because I know you have expenses. At the end of every month, you need to buy groceries, you need to pay your credit card debt, you need to pay your rent or your mortgage, and you need to pay for your transport and all those things. Those are your expenses, right? So you need to have a plan for your expenses. The second is your investment box. You need to have a plan for your investment. What amount of money you keep at the end of your paycheck for the purpose of investment? Because if you don't invest, it means there's no future for you, because you'll only be living from paycheck to paycheck, and that is terrible, and that is a bad practice. So you need to have an investment box, an amount of money at the end of the month you're keeping for the purpose of investment. The third is your need box. Yes, you need to save for the purpose of emergency, not necessarily for something very bad. An opportunity might come, and if you don't have an emergency fund, you might not be able to meet it. For instance, your wife is pregnant, right? This is a good thing. She wants to deliver a bouncing baby boy or bouncing baby girl, whatever it is, right? You need the money to meet those needs, right? Also, an opportunity can come in your child's school for him to go for an excursion that is going to improve his exposure so he can learn new things. If you don't have that money, that is an emergency fund in your emergency or your need box, you might not be able to pay for that child to go for that excursion. That's why you need an expense box, an investment box, and also a need box. The third thing I want to be saying is that you need to be honest with yourself. What are some of the bad practices or bad habits you will work with when you get your paycheck? I know if every month I need the money, or 31st of every month, you're already looking at your clock to see when the money will be coming to your account, right? But you don't even have a plan. So as this money comes, you start spending the money, and you discover that by the end or by the mid of the month, you're done with your paycheck, and you just get to wonder, what did I actually use the money for? It means there's something you're not doing, and I want you to correct that now. But before the budget aspects, what are some of the bad practices we actually do with our paycheck or with our net income? The reason why I said net income is because before the money comes to you, the government have taken their tax. So what you get after the tax is the net income, right? So your net income, what do you use your net income to do? What are some of the good practices, or what are some of the bad practices now that you are actually doing every month that is affecting your finances? I used to have a manager when I used to work in a warehouse, in a car wash. I've done a lot of crazy jobs, right? But thank God for the way I am now. Things are much more better than it was before by the decision I actually take. But when I used to work in the car wash, he's the manager in the car wash. He said in the past 10 years, his name is Mohammed. In the past 10 years, he normally buys Coastal coffee. So every morning he smokes and he sips coffee. In the past 10 years, he actually been doing that. Now, I'm not saying buying Coastal coffee is bad, but what I'm saying is that there could be other ways he can be able to meet his desire. Probably make coffee at home, or probably maybe there could be something that he can actually do. Instead of spending that amount of money in the past 10 years, he might spend lesser and actually take the savings from that lesser expenses into his investment box, meaning the money he keeps for investment is much than it will have normally be, because he has been able to cut out some bad practices. So you need to look at your budget, or you need to have a track record of how you've been spending your paycheck in the past 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, or 1 year or 2 years, and see what are some of the bad practices, what are some of the bad expenses, some of the things I've actually been spending my money on that I don't actually need to spend my money upon. You will discover that there's this $50 or there's this $100 that you can actually add to your investment box, which will increase your investment portfolio. Very, very important. So look at those things, because this will lead me to the next thing I want to talk about, which is the budget. Because when you want to budget according to priority, not according to wants. You want to budget on things that are much important before things that you want. Your needs first before your wants. So an example of what I mean by your needs: in your expense, you need to pay your credit card debt. So people say, Mike, Damola, you need to pay yourself first. That's important, and you get to a position where you can do that. But most people at the stage in which they are now, it's important that they pay the credit card guy, because if they don't pay him, it's going to come for them. And if you don't pay your credit card debt, you're going to affect your credit card score. It's going to affect your credit rating, meaning it will be difficult for you to get money when you want to make other investment decisions, right? If you don't pay your rent because you want to pay yourself first, the landlord will come for you. It will come for you. It means you're going to be homeless. So those are needs. You need to fix this thing first. Very, very important. And I'm going to address the issue in my subsequent, just give me a few minutes from now, I'm going to address this issue when it comes to paying yourself first. But for now, you need to meet those important things. Some of you are paying high interest rates on your credit card. So it means that you need to try a way to be able to sort out your credit card debt, because that takes a lot of money from your paycheck, and that's not good, and that will not guarantee you a better future if you continue living from credit card debt to credit card debt. Every month you are maxing up your credit card. That will not be a good financial practice. So very, very important that you need to budget according to needs before your wants. According to need before your wants. And that budget is going to be from the 3 boxes I talk about. First is your expense box. The second is your investment box. And the third is your need box. So what are your expenses, for instance? Example of your expenses is your groceries. So at the end of the month, you need to feed yourself, right? So you need to have your groceries. You need to pay for your rent or your mortgage. You need to pay your credit card debt or your credit card interest rate. You need to do other important things like your transportation and all of that. So those are expenses. So you need to budget for your expenses. And if there are things in those expenses that it's not important, you don't need to put them now. Those will go to the want. The second aspect is your investment box. You need to keep a particular amount of money for the purpose of investment. If you don't have an investment, you don't have a guarantee for your financial future, because the moment you start building your investment portfolio, when you have this good investment, like I said in my previous video, you should do well to watch it before you come to watch this one, so you can be up to date with the information. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe, give your comments so we can improve on the video, and tell us what you want. We want to improve on this channel because we want to hear from you. So when you start giving your comment, these are the things I want you to talk about, then I can address them in my subsequent video. And also don't forget to like, share, and also subscribe. Thank you very much. So as we continue, the budget is according to needs before wants. Now we're talking about your expenses. The things that are not important goes to your want. The things that are important are the needs. So expenses box, investment box. You want to invest, because if you don't invest, you're not giving yourself a guarantee for the future. The moment you start increasing your investment portfolio, there's a great tendency that your income will start improving. At this point in time, you can now think of paying yourself first, because you have a lot of money to meet your expenses. Very, very important. Now, needs, with your expenses, investment, then needs. Your needs is you need to keep a particular amount of money for the purpose of emergency. An opportunity might come for your child if you're married, if you have your partner, you have a kid, that he wants to go for an excursion, maybe somewhere, and this amount of money is needed. If you don't have that emergency fund, it means your child might not be able to go for that excursion or for that trip. And the child won't be happy. And of course, yourself won't be happy, because you know that trip is going to be of benefit to your child. So you need to have a need box, and that is what you have to add in your budget. So people normally say that, Damola, I don't like budgeting because budgeting is boring. But I want you to understand this, that sometimes the boring stuff are actually the important stuff. It's not everything that is good that has to be sweet. you need to go through the pain of budgeting. I'll be very, very honest with you. You don't need something very, very fancy, something you have to do with Excel, PowerPoint to design. No. Get a book, a pen, and write out these things. What are the things I need for the month? My credit card, how much am I paying? My mortgage, my rent, have those things listed out. Then you budget your money based on what you receive at the end of the month. So if you receive $2,000, you want to break that $2,000 into these three things I've talked about: your expenses, your investment needs, and your investment box and your need box, right? So you put it, okay, for instance, my savings into my index fund, I want to save $200. You put that $200. So when you did at the end of the whole steps, when you add it up and it's giving you 2,500, you of course know that your paycheck cannot actually meet what you budgeted. So what are the things that I don't need that I can actually shed out? Right? This is how to do your budget. 10, 15, 20 minutes, you're done. And you're saving yourself the heck of not planning. Right? Very, very important. You need to have a budget. And that will help you to be able to manage your expenses. And that is what is going to lead you to your plan of financial freedom. Very, very important. Now, you need the next thing I want to talk about in this video is you need to up your game. What do I mean by up your game? For instance, we just talked about your budget is now $2,500, but at the end of the month you're receiving $2,000. It means your deficit by $500. And if you still want to go ahead with that budget, it means you either have to go to your credit card to take $500 that you can be able to meet the other things you have listed in your budget. You get the point? So this is the reason why I say you have to up your game. How do you up your game? You need to get maybe a second job. Yeah, Mike, why will I say getting a second job? You're actually going against yourself. But remember, in my previous video, like I said previously, you should watch the video. There are different kinds of financial routes. There are different financial routes. Some routes are short, some routes are long. Getting a second job can also be a financial route because you're going to make extra income. But maybe there could be something more better that you can actually do. I'm not saying getting a second job is bad. If that's the situation you find yourself, you need to do what you need to do now. That's fine by you, but you know that some journeys are going to be longer and some journeys are going to be shorter. So choose your journey now. The second thing in stepping up your game is probably you need to get a better job. It's possible that there are other better jobs you can get out there that will pay you more, that you can be able to meet out your budget or your needs at the end of every month. So you can get a better job. Maybe resign from your first job, getting a better job that pays you better, or give you the opportunity to do more things with your life. So first is getting a second job. The second is getting a better job. Now the third thing is upgrading your skills. So you want to get more skills. Because when you get more skills, it's possible you can negotiate with your employer that, look, you've gotten these skills and you think you need your paycheck to be increased from whatever it is to this amount. Right? So getting the skills, you can get the skills that can also help you to do other kind of side hustles or side businesses. If you want to be trading, for instance, you need the skills on how to trade the financial market so you can invest in your skills. Remember, you need an investment box, right? So those are what you use your investment to do. You want to invest in yourself, invest in knowledge. You want to invest in other forms of asset classes. So the third is getting a skills. And the fourth is starting a business. Starting a business. So you can do different kinds of business now. You can start creating courses on the things you're passionate about. You can start cooking. That's a business. If you're passionate about cooking, you can start an online program, maybe online lessons, maybe doing tutorials, and you're charging money for it. Of course, you can also start a brick and mortar business. You can start an investment business if you know how to trade. You can start managing funds for people as long as you've gotten all your documentation and all your legal proceeding right. So first is, I said, getting a second job. The second is getting a better job. The third is getting a better skills, improving your skills, and the third is starting up a business. These are very, very important things because when you start upgrading yourself in this area, it means you can be able to meet out your budget and you don't need to struggle to take a credit card loan or whatever it is that you're using to offset for your budget deficit. Finally, is that you need to stick with the plan. It's very, very important that you stick to the plan. Some people have a plan, but they don't stick to it. You need to be disciplined to stick to the plan. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but give yourself accountability, right? Reward yourself once you stick to the plan. This will motivate you to do more next time, but you need to stick to the plan because if you don't stick to the plan, of because you're getting nowhere. It's just like you saying you want to go to somewhere, you plot it in your Google map. I want to go to this place, and Google says it's going to take you 15 minutes, but you don't stick to the route Google is giving you. You decide to go through your own route. That may take you 25 minutes or even 30 minutes. That may take you to a destination you didn't actually plan for. So stick to the plan. And as you do this, you'll be so surprised that your paycheck, you can be able to account for your paycheck. And of course, you're guaranteeing yourself a better future. All right, I'll see you on the next video. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also comment so we can also improve on the things you would like to see in our subsequent videos. All right, see you next time. And don't forget to stay green. Bye for now. Cheers.